Hello everyone, welcome to Black is BeUtiful. This is the webinar hosted by Shevielle Products, and it's all about the journey to self-acceptance. So, and you know, it's all about International Women's Day, which is on Monday. So we are hosting this event to really celebrate the International Women's Day and the journey to self-acceptance, which as Black women, it can be so easy for us to constantly look to others for standards of what beauty is. Societal beauty standards make us often feel, you know, a little bit insecure and think about our features that are sorry about that, guys. Societal beauty standards often sometimes make us feel a bit insecure about our features. You know, we have kinky hair, we have big lips, dark skin, broad noses, and you know, the societal beauty standards kind of go against, you know, our features. So it's all about the journey through self-acceptance and loving who we are. So we have a very exciting program lined up. We have Shevielle herself, Candice Gordon. We have Mandy Wright, who is an evangelist. She will be speaking. And we have some entertainment, some poetry by Shaniki Dawkins, and some sponsors, giveaways from our sponsors. But before I go more into it, I'd like to give a special thank you to our sponsors. That's BeUtiful Collections, Living Holistically, Tan's Hair Honey Hive, Chocolate chocolates, which is absolutely delicious, Lady Stitch, and of course the hot box from News Talk 93 FM. So let me just give you a quick outline of what this webinar is really all about. The purpose of this is really to help women reshape their concept of what beauty is, to inspire others to love, value, and accept and appreciate, you know, their natural hair and our skin, and also to provide them with natural remedies, why we have Shevielle and all our sponsors, natural remedies to improve health of their natural hair and the glow of their skin. So I would like to first of all start off with a prayer by Candice. Candice, over to you.
Hi everyone, I hope you guys are all well. And before we begin, I would like to offer a word of prayer. So let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you for all that you've done and all that you've continued to do, Lord. Lord, you know the struggles that we go through as Black people. And I pray, Lord, that as we go through this webinar, may we learn some tips that will inspire us, that will encourage us to accept ourselves, Lord. Thank you for all that you've done and continue in our lives. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Thank you very much for that blessing, Candice. So our first presentation is going to be Candice, which Shevielle, and you know, Candice is the owner and founder of Shevielle, which started with two kinky-haired teenage girls on a quest for natural hair growth, searching for natural hair remedies that could actually work. Today, Shevielle manufactures 7 dual-purpose oils, 4 handcrafted natural soaps, which they work awesome for me, and 2 whipped butters. Shevielle believes in a holistic approach to her hair and skincare. So the business provides natural remedies for hair and skin, and hair tips and dietary suggestions. So join us. So over to you now, Shevielle. I will call you Shevielle for this.
All right, so it's me again. All right, so I want to actually start sharing my presentation. Let me know if you can see it.
It's on screen. You can make it full screen and that's great.
Okay, I will do that. Is it bigger for everybody?
Yes, that's perfect.
All right, so can I screen? It's big enough for everyone? Okay. All right, so let me go back on it. All right, so before I actually begin this presentation in terms of the tips, I thought it would be appropriate to share with you guys a little of my story and the story of my self-acceptance, the journey of my self-acceptance, and the genesis of my natural journey. Go away. All right. So basically, if I was supposed to ask you guys if anybody has seen me in hair or anything like hair extensions, I'm pretty sure that not much persons would have put up their hands. Let me see in the chat. So have you ever seen me with braids or weave or anything like that? And actually, you can let me know if there's any responses in the chat. Okay, so well, basically, a lot of people have not really seen it, and there is a story behind my natural journey. There's a story behind this natural look that I actually wear. So basically, for me, it's more than just the look. It's actually a statement. So in high school, like I was so insecure about my hair. I was really insecure. Like any opportunity that I would actually to extend my hair, I would do it because I didn't feel that my natural hair was beautiful enough to be worn on its own. And so I remember in 2015, when school summer break had ended and I had to take out the braids, I just felt so incomplete. Like I felt so, I don't want to say ugly because that's a bad word. But basically I felt not ready, you know? And I despise that feeling. I really didn't want to feel that way anymore. I really wanted to feel that my natural look is my best look. And so in 2016, as the year went on, I created a word of the year. And my word of the year was self-acceptance. So it was my word of the year, guys. You can open your mics and interact with me and let me know what you're thinking. Right? So basically my word of the year was self-acceptance. I didn't want to wear anything that would tempt me to believe that my natural hair or skin was not beautiful enough to be worn on its own. And so basically that journey of self-acceptance actually led to the beginning of my natural journey and the beginning of what is now known as Shevielle. So basically for me during that period, like I don't want to wear no more hair, I don't want to wear any makeup or anything like that. And of course, being without those additives, it actually created a greater challenge for me to actually find natural remedies and natural solutions to actually improve my hair and improve my skin. And so I actually started on a quest for hair growth, trying to find natural remedies that actually work. And that's how we have Shevielle. First year when I came to UWI, I started it and it's just been like that since. So I'm really excited to share with you guys some remedies that I found along the way and some tips to basically improve your hair and skin. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the chat and Ashia could let me know if anybody has any questions. All right, so before trying to develop your hair care routine, there are some things that you do need to know. There are some things that you do need to know about your hair. And to be honest, trying to find the ideal hair and skincare routine is really a trial and error process. But by knowing your hair's porosity, its density, its type, and its thickness, it actually helps you to reduce a lot of those mistakes. So let's run through some of the terms, even though I know the majority of you guys probably already know about know these terms and what they mean. So basically, let's start with the most out there one, which is hair type. So basically, the hair type really refers to the curl pattern of your hair. So as you can see over here, like the 4C hair has the tightest coils and it's the most jagged, but the 4B is a bit more looser. As you go down in the series, you actually recognize that the curls will come less, to they're almost non-existent. Most of us who are of African descent normally have between 3A to 4C hair type. To me, it's one of the most, I'm gonna say it's controversial, because sometimes you think you have this and somebody else will say, oh, you don't have that. But to me, knowing your hair type is not that important as knowing your hair density and your hair porosity, which I will explain going down further. So next we'll move on to hair thickness. So this actually refers to the width of your actual hair strands. So if you actually take out one of your strands, when you look at it, is it something that's really hard to see, or is it like, you know, thick? And to me, the hair type and the hair thickness more affects your ability, I say ability to style your hair, but it may affect the type of styles that you choose to do in your hair. Now, as you think about the hair density, the hair density really refers to the amount of hair strands that exist, like how close they are together. So this would be like a little diagram of what your hair density will look like. So if you like you part your hair and you look like, is it hard for you to see your scalp or is it easy? And if it's difficult, more than likely your hair is really dense and it makes it easy for you to do those big afros, those really good catch-ups and stuff like that. So now we're over to our hair porosity, which to me is really critical for you to understand. And it really took me a while to figure this one out. There are two main types of tests that I've heard about before, which is the floating test, which you can see right here, and also the water beads test, which to me is way more easier. So basically with the water beads test, you like spray your hair with some water. And if the water bead sits on the hair, more than likely you have low porosity because your hair follicles isn't absorbing the water that easily. But if you have high porosity, it means that your hair is really accepts moisture. And you may say, oh, that's a good thing, but it's not always a good thing because if your hair is quick to absorb moisture, it's a high chance it is quick to lose moisture as well. So I hope you guys note that. So persons with low porosity hair, their hair may be frizzy and dry, but of course it will be quick to absorb products. Persons with low porosity hair now, let's say they did the floating test, right? And they took out a strand and they put it in the water. It doesn't sink at all. It shows that their hair isn't absorbing moisture that well. But even though it's difficult to absorb the moisture, it can be really difficult to lose it as well. You get what I'm saying? Guys, interact with me if I don't want to feel like, you know, I'm talking to myself or anything. But yes, that's really important. And knowing that will help you to know, oh, should I include a little heat in my hair care routine, or is it something I should avoid altogether? So persons with low porosity hair may enjoy a little heat because guess what? It helps to open up their hair follicles. You understand? So they can more readily absorb the products. But guess what? Persons with high porosity hair, they do not like heat. Their hair does not like heat. Like if you guys know the Belizean twins that are on my page, like I remember on how like the water on LRH 138, they didn't have any cold water, so they only had hot water, and it was wreaking havoc on their hair, right? Well, probably my hair that love the look of warm water. So if you have high porosity hair, I will definitely encourage you to avoid the heat. And of course, persons with high porosity hair will enjoy those heavier products, you know, like oils and butters to help seal moisture in their hair. So now I've been through a little run through about, you know, hair and so on. I'm going to move on into some tips that can actually help you to improve your natural hair, right? So I mean, if you ask anybody, before I even ask that, guys, I just want to know, like, do you have any tips that you think that that you tried and have actually helped you to improve your hair? Anyone, you can actually let me know in the chat if you have anything to share in that regard. Okay, so somebody should have, I guess that's high porosity. All right, so nobody has any tips at all that they want to share that they think could actually help? Okay, so somebody said, Tiffany McIntosh said low manipulation. Oh, Shaniki said only aloe vera. Well, that's a good one, but I wouldn't say only, but it really helps. Definitely implementing heat for low prostate, which is a game changer for me. It is a game changer because when I did the low part, when I recognized that my hair was absorbing stuff, what I did, I actually covered it with a plastic bag. And what it did, it actually helped to create heat. You know, if you cover things with plastic, it sweats. There's the same thing with your hair with the greenhouse effect. And that also helps you to naturally, introduce heat into your hair. All right, somebody say use samples before buying a full size. Yes, that definitely helps because sometimes something that might work good for a Shia, for example, may not work so good for me. So especially if the cost of the product is significant, I'll definitely encourage you getting some samples. So before we go on, so I'm going to move on to my tips. So as I said, Shevielle, or as Ashaya said, Shevielle is a holistic lifestyle brand, right? So it's not just about products, there are things in your lifestyle and your routine that you may need to change up a bit to actually get optimal hair health. I just narrowed down mine to like 4, or is it 5? All right, so I have like 4. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, it's 4. Right, so I have 4. So the first one I have is to improve your hair's moisture retention. And moisture is so critical because guess what? That's what helps to keep your hair pliable, right? And it also helps to keep your hair hydrated. So if it is, for example, without it, your hair would be dry and brittle. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have heard about the LOC method or the LCO method. And what it actually does, it actually helps you to not only introduce water to your hair, but helps you to retain it, right? No matter what they want to say, if the product doesn't have water in it, it's not a moisturizer. Let me repeat it. If the product doesn't have water in it or some floral water in it or some aqueous preparation in it, it is not a moisturizer because water is the only thing that can really and truly moisturize your hair. Every other butter and oil is really to help you to seal it in. And LOC or LCO really means liquid, oil, and cream. So liquid could be like water. It could be, I love to do herbal teas in my hair. If you have access to floral waters, that's nice. The oil can be like something like, for example, coconut oil or Chevielle's castor oil or that kind of thing. And the cream now could actually be, for example, like a leave-in or a moisturizer. And the oil can also be a butter as well. It really depends on your hair. So if your hair is thin, I would recommend bulking up on the heavy products. But if your hair is a bit thicker, it will definitely do your hair some justice. And another thing that I think is really important to improve your hair is actually washing or clarifying your hair regularly, right? A lot of people say, oh, don't wash your hair because it strips and so on. Guys, there's a way to wash your hair to reduce the stripping. Of course, you would want to avoid all sulfate shampoos, but at the same time, like if your scalp is not clean, then it will not be able to absorb the moisture, absorb the products as well as it could, right? So that's really important. And it has definitely been a game changer for me in 2020. So since staying home, I'm not going out that much. I decided, I'm gonna wash my hair every 2 weeks. And when I did that, I also applied like a pre-poo. So the pre-poo for me sometimes is aloe vera juice, a little coconut oil in it. Sometimes it's onion juice, it's my special concoction. And it includes sometimes like garlic, cayenne pepper, sometimes turmeric, because those stuff actually helps increase blood circulation. And when the blood circulation increases, then it's more likely for your hair strands to get more moisture. Not moisture, sorry, more nutrients, which is critical for hair growth. And if any of you guys have any sort of pre-poo that you've done in your hair, like some kind of concussion that you've added before you wash your hair, you can also type it in the chat, and I guess we'll talk about it as we go along. Another thing that's really important is that you rest your hair regularly. Yes. So at the times when persons think about resting your hair, they automatically think of protective styles like braids and cane rows and so on. But resting your hair can be as simple as wearing a tie. And let me explain. To be honest, like for me, as I said, when I go out there, I don't wear hair. So for me, like I don't do braids and stuff like that. But I find that by covering my hair at home, like it helps to reduce my tendency of touching it. I don't know what happens to you, like you're studying and you're like scratching your head, or you just don't have anything to do and you're playing in your hair. And what that actually does, it actually helps to break your hair. And you don't want that, because on regular our hair grows 6 inches a year. But let's be honest, how many of us actually see 6 inches more on our hair at the end of the year? Yeah, just type in the chat. Let me know how many persons like actually see something, see like 6 inches of growth. I would say no. And the reason why that isn't the case is because we break a lot of our hair in detangling it, break a lot of our hair in combing it, styling it, and so on. And so resting is really critical to actually maintain the length of your hair. And another thing that is really important, a lot of people forget, or when we think about, is eating well and exercising regularly. So yes, so somebody said even catching up too tight helps to lose your hair. And yes, exercise and eating well is super important. Let me emphasize that it is important. No matter how much LOC, LCO you use, or whatever products you're using in your hair, if it is that you're not eating properly, then you're not going to see the hair growth, because your hair is an extension of your body, and if your body isn't healthy, then your hair will not be healthy. I just wanted to list out some nutrients that you should try, nutrients that you should try to ensure that you include in your diet to actually encourage hair growth and to prevent hair loss. So of course, vitamins are critical, namely vitamins A, C, D, and E. Zinc and the B vitamins are also important. Don't forget your protein, and iron and biotin are also very important. If you fail to include these in your diet, or if you have a lack, it will, one, retard your hair growth, and sometimes even result in hair loss. All right, so now we're going to go on into, and before I even go into the exercise, so if you intend to be intentional, if you intend to be what? Intentional about your hair growth, you have to be intentional about the food that you put on your plate. So if you are intending to be intentional about your hair growth, you need to be intentional about the food that you put on your plate. So exercise, and Shana said that, I guess exercise is the best way to feed your hair. But wait, that's the best way to feed your hair, by eating properly and exercising, which is true. So when you exercise, yes, your bust a sweat, yes, but it helps increase the circulation of blood in your body. So when you're running and so on, it actually helps to pump blood all over your body. And when you think about your head, it's probably one of the most difficult places for blood to reach on a regular, because it is so high up and gravity is pulling the blood in the opposite direction. So when you're doing those stretches, it actually helps to increase blood circulation, which helps to increase the nutrients that is supplied to your hair follicles. All right, so before we even go over into the skincare, I just want people to put in like 3 tips, or probably even less, any tip that you can think of that can help us achieve glowing skin. So anyone? Okay, so someone said water, right? I drink lots of water. 2 persons said that so far. All right. So if anybody else have any suggestions, turmeric, vitamin C, water. Oh, that's a new one. That's some power pack. Drinking turmeric and ginger tea. Yeah, that sounds really power pack. And eat less oily food. Yeah. So those are some really good tips that you guys have actually suggested. And I'm going to make a very bold statement here that may be surprising to some people. And that is skincare is really 80% internal and 20% external. And why would I say that? It's because your skin is the largest organ that your body have. And other times we take it for granted because it's not all as squishy as, for example, your heart or your lungs. But it's really important that you actually take care of your internals to get the best skin that you desire. And I thought about it and I said there are 4 contributing factors that I believe affect our skin. And firstly, I'm going to say first, but diet is very important. Diet is important because what you feed your body is what your body puts out. Another important factor is lifestyle. Are you constantly stressed? Are you always on the go? Do you have time to rest? All that is so important. Time management, guys, is like a gem to hair and skin success. Your environment is also critical. Sometimes if your environment is not the cleanliest or if it's not clean, it can negatively affect your skin. And I'm gonna explain. If it's dirty, it's going to, of course, be increasing the amount of harmful bacteria your skin is exposed to. And sometimes even a changing weather can be a trigger for acne or eczema. So it's very important to actually consider before, when you're thinking about your skincare. So now I'm pretty sure there are millions of tips on how to improve your skin. But I just kind of narrowed it down to 4, and those are: 1, reconsider your eating habits. More healthy food and less junk. 2, avoid stress. 3, clean and exfoliate your skin regularly. 4, beware of dirty things. Right? So the first one, that's pretty broad. And I just want to say, sometimes we're doing everything possible. And the breakouts are still coming. The eczema flares are still all over our bodies. And that's not sure what you're doing wrong. Sometimes you need to reconsider some things that you're eating. I'm not going to say it's the same thing for everybody, but sometimes you have to reconsider your sugar intake. Am I eating too much of that sugar? And sugar is basically in everything. So sometimes you say, oh, I'm only drink a soda today. But guess what? There's sugar sometimes in your cornflakes. There's sugar in your soya milk. There's sugar in your biscuit. There's sugar, if you go to a restaurant, sometimes there's sugar in the rice and peas. There's sugar in the ketchup. So don't be like, oh, I just drinking a bottle of soda, which is like 20 tablespoons of sugar, by the way. Think about the other things that have hidden sugar, because sugar is highly inflammatory. And of course, it's going to increase the likelihood of acne flares and eczema. Another thing to consider, gluten. Gluten, it's a natural protein source in wheat and stuff. Really and truly, to me, gluten, the negative impact of gluten really increases with more genetically modified foods, but that may be a trigger for you and you don't even know it. So do an experiment. Try a month, for example, without the flour, and let's see if there's a difference. Dairy. A lot of us are lactose intolerant and don't even know it. Not because you're not vomiting, that does not mean that you're not lactose intolerant. Sometimes it shows up in your skin, your eczema, your acne, and so on. So definitely recommend that you experiment to see if that's a trigger for you. And unhealthy fats, right? So sometimes the fur prop is not good for us, you know, experiment to see. And instead of doing like a sugary drink, get some water instead. Instead of doing like a sweet or a biscuit, try a fruit, right? So, I mean, the Caribbean is filled with a variety of fruits. We have a fruiting season almost all year round. So why not get some? And what this will do, especially in terms of water, it will keep your body hydrated and it will help to maintain the elasticity of your skin. So with time, after being intentional about your water drinking, you will see that you actually age a bit better than your companions or your friends. And another thing is that fruits and vegetables are oftentimes filled with antioxidants, and vitamins that are critical for the glow of your skin. Right? So anybody have any other questions or any kind of food suggestions that they would want to add before I move on to the stress part? What? All right, so I don't really see any as yet. So I'll continue. So another thing I was mentioning was avoid stress. Stress is a slow killer. A lot of us underestimate its power, but it is serious. And a good way to avoid stress is by time management, so you can get everything done without feeling flustered. Stress, what it actually does, it actually, hold on. So stress, it actually makes your skin more sensitive and reactive. And this makes it easier, or what should I say, harder for your skin problems to heal. So what you'll find when you're going through a stressful period, you find that not only your hair is getting a bit thinner, but you're having those breakouts that you're not used to. And sometimes stress makes skin conditions like psoriasis, eczema, and so on even worse. So it's something to really think about. And of course, the third tip is to clean and exfoliate your skin regularly, right? That's super important. And it's not just about your face, your body in general, because when you clean your skin, it helps to remove those free radicals from your skin and dirt. And this helps to reduce the likelihood of acne flares. And especially in the case of exfoliation, it helps to remove dead cells from your skin, which helps your skin to have a new, fresh look and also helps to reduce the likelihood of acne resurfacing. Also, be aware of dirty things. Let me say it again. Be aware of dirty things. Like, I know some people might be like, what? But sometimes that's a little boogeyman that is mashing up your skin. You're wiping off your face with a dirty towel when you know wash or change like, I don't know, 2 weeks. And sometimes you're sleeping on that dirty pillowcase that you haven't changed in probably a month. Sometimes your water isn't the cleanest. Like, for example, my sister, she normally has good skin and she made a mistake of washing her face with water that was in a bath pan. But the bath pan wasn't the cleanest. And what happened, like for months, like her skin came up with these awful bumps. And it was simply because she washed her face with dirty water. And that's something that's really important to look out for. And not only does dirty things create like acne and so on, it also can possibly be the source of like ringworm and other fungal diseases that appear on your skin. So that's basically my natural ways to improve your skin and my natural ways of improving your hair. So let me know if you have any questions. And of course, I would definitely encourage you to join the natural journey with Shevielle. Mm-hmm. All right, so is there any questions for me?
Well, I just wanted to add that sleeping with a satin pillowcase can also help, and you can change your pillowcase like 2 to 3 times a week, because sometimes our hair, the grease and all the buildup from our hair gets onto our pillowcase, and that's what really helps our face to actually break out.
Mhm. And also, pillowcase really helps with your moisture retention as well. Because if you sleep, for example, you don't sleep with a tide or a satin bonnet or something, and you sleep direct on your pillowcase, like the dry pillowcase can actually help to suck out the moisture out of your hair. So that's a really important thing that you actually suggested right there.
I have a question. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. How do
Yes.
you handle eczema flare-ups if
Hi.
they do occur?
Okay. All right. So something that I'm tackling myself as well. So in terms of eczema, one of the things that is so important for you to understand is what is the possible sources of your flare-ups. That's really important. And once you know that, by cutting them out, it actually helps to reduce the likelihood of those flares coming up. Another thing that's really important that has been working for me, especially for my legs, is aloe vera juice. And for example, you can cut it and freeze it, and then you apply it to your skin first, and then you could apply your butter over it or your lotion. That to me, not only is the aloe vera very rejuvenating, it also is a natural emollient, sorry. And when you have eczema, it's really important for you to keep your skin moisturized. If your eczema is like mine and sometimes itchy, you may need to apply a little, for example, tea tree essential oil to your skin, not to your skin, sorry. You may need to add a little to your lotion, or you may need to add a little to your aloe vera juice that you apply to your skin. And I think peppermint helps a little with that as well. Selena said that I find that turmeric soap for your face and moisturizing after washing your face and a bath. So yes, that helps for me too. So I actually bathe with my turmeric soap because I'm an all-natural person. So I don't use store-bought stuff. I want to use my products and DIYs. And I find that the turmeric, especially when you mix it with the aloe vera, it really helps to soothe things, especially if you're not going anywhere. I've applied it to my legs and I apply my butter over it, and it really helps. And she also said, reduce your dairy, as we had mentioned before. So does that answer your question, Gabby? Or is I wonder if the right person.
Yes, it does. Thank you. Because sometimes I tend to mix up dandruff and eczema because they both scratch. But more and more, I'm realizing that it's actually eczema. So what I've started to do is cut out milk, but I wanted to know what else I could do. So thank you. Thank you very much.
And also, eczema on your scalp is a bit different from eczema on your legs. So, for example, with that, the cocoa neem, a customer told me that it actually used it to reduce the amount of eczema flare-up she has on her scalp. But that may work for her, but may not work for everybody. And another thing too, when you're washing your hair, all they give your hair a little blonde look. The adding a little turmeric in your wash or your pre-poo actually helps to tone it down a bit. All they give your hair a little yellow sheen. It works. All right, so I share over to you.
If I could just add one thing,
Mm-hmm.
to answer Gabriel, I do have eczema on my scalp as well, and it flares up. Even just washing it every week, it just always flares up and my hair gets a bit flaky. But I had to go to the dermatologist and they had to recommend like scalp rings, and that's basically the only thing that really helps. Because if you really have it really bad, then I would recommend going to the derma.
Agreed, definitely.
Thank you very much, Candice, for that very educational presentation. That was really informative. I was making notes throughout. That was really good. And what I loved as well was the interaction with everybody in the chat. And it just goes to prove this is a journey that we're all on together about self-acceptance and, experimenting with our skin and our hair. So it's really good. And your personal story was very, very relatable to me and to all the audience. And you went through all the hair types, the density and the porosity. I actually went to go and grab a bowl and I pulled out a strand so I could check to see what kind of hair, if it's low versus high. and it's very low density. But so that's that. And so I should really, you know, heat, apparently you said heat is good for my hair, but maybe I think my hair might be more mid.
Repeat?
Did you say, you said that heat is good for low density hair?
Applying a little, but not too much. So for example, like steaming your hair, that kind of thing, a little warmer, so when you're washing your hair helps, but not like blow drying and flat iron, please, no.
No, and not even what I have right now, which is a tight hairstyle. My strands are pulling right now, and by the end of this, I will have to take it out and give myself a little massage, which somebody in the comments said about the tight hairdos, which is not really recommended, as you had said. And somebody in the comment section had also mentioned blue magic being really good for the hair now. I used to use that when I was much younger. Now, growing up, you know, we started to use all these different kinds of products, but recently I've gone back to the original blue magic, and it's the best for my hair. And you gave some excellent tips as well for the skin. You know, you gave us tips. I'm going to actually ask the giveaway question based on the tips that you gave, so I won't go too much into that, but just to give you an extra tip. So that's
I can do something like, okay, hear me?
Yes.
I was saying that blue magic works for some, but it doesn't work for everybody, because like for me, the petroleum doesn't really work well for my hair. So then sometimes my hair comes out. So you just have to experiment and make sure if you're applying it, since it's a petroleum product, add like some water so it actually seasons the moisture and not just seal dry hair.
Yes, which is what this forum is all about, you know, engaging, interacting, sharing ideas, you know, what we've been experimenting with to see what works for everyone. Because like you said, it might work for me, but it won't necessarily work for somebody else. So, and another thing what I use on my skin, after I've been eating a mango, because somebody in the comments said mango is great for glowing skin. When I finished eating a mango, I will use the skin, or eat, not really the seed, but usually the skin, and I rub it all over my face, and that gives me a good glow. Now, my friends used to laugh at me for that, and then a couple of weeks later, one of my friends called me and was like, oh, wow, that you see the mango skin, it's made such a great impact on her skin. So, you know, it's about experimenting. But to move on, we have Shaniki, who's going to give us a little bit of entertainment. She has a poem for us, and Shaniki Dawkins is an aspiring writer, businesswoman, and language enthusiast who's currently enrolled in linguistics and languages education program at the University of the West Indies. Yay, Mona. She aims to be one day she aims to one day make an impact on the Jamaican educational sector, advancing literacy and comprehension skills island-wide for young students. Well, Shaniki, you have a huge job. That's a challenge and definitely worth it. She likes to spend her time when not in school farming and creating dishes from the items grown in her backyard all the way in the country. Big up Ochi Rios. She is also an environmentalist. Shaniki spends her time refining her methods to optimize recycling by engaging in permaculture, which is a part of her company's aim. Nice. Outside of this, she holds the position of a creative director and consultant on several company boards that specialize in natural products. She is a lover of family, children, and of course, animals. She loves a good book. Yes, she does. That's why she's a writer, and hopes one day to bring joy to others through her stories, just as joy was brought to her, which is really sweet. So welcome, Shaniki. I see Mandy waving. Hi, Mandy. Do we have Shaniki ready? It seems Shaniki was having a little bit issues with her internet connection. So we could just move on with the program. I'm going to go ahead and introduce Mandy.
She's in the waiting room. So I'll go.
Let's let her in.
So Sorry. Shaniki, you're here?
I can go first. It's not a problem if you want me to. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
Ashia?
All right, let's go ahead and I'm going to introduce Mandy, who is a evangelist, and she's based in Boston, but she is a Jamaican. So Mandy is an evangelist, president and founder of As I Am Ministries, author, wife, and mother. She pioneers conferences and virtual events. Her ministry reaches out to young people of God's glory. And Mandy has been doing that ever since, from high school days. I remember Mandy doing that. So it's no surprise to see Mandy embrace this journey. It's actually awesome. So her ministry mandate is to help young people discover their identity through Christ and use their gifts, talents, and abilities to glorify God. Mandy studies communications and theology in Boston, Massachusetts, and believes that these two fields will help her greatly spread her message of hope right across the globe. She considers herself a multi-dimensional individual who fully lives out her purpose, which I just said that absolutely she does that. Mandy is also known for her influence and keen fashion sense. Yep, that's true. She has also appeared on national television several times to speak about different aspects of her personality and ministry. Mandy loves to coach young people and to help them holistically. Mandy's ultimate goal is to pursue a master's degree in mental health counseling and help young people develop holistically. She hopes to work in the creative industry as well. Welcome! I'm managing talented young people and providing them with a platform to shine. That is absolutely awesome. So the floor is over to you, Mandy.
Listen,
Mandy.
hi, Shevielle. You could read anything for me and it would sound good because of how great, your what would I call it? Your reading skills is, and also the accent. I love British accents.
Oh,
So
thank you.
for that
Well, we got
lovely.
the radio program that I host on a Thursday every week on News Talk, and I forgot to introduce myself. I'm actually a radio presenter and host, so that's why I have this voice.
Yeah, I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good to see you again. Known you ever since high school. It's so funny how people cross paths in different ways that we never expected. To the host, Shevielle, I want to thank you for extending this invitation to me. I am really proud of the work that you are doing, and I pray that God will strengthen you and give you different strategies, give you different ideas, to be innovative and be a leader in your field. So thank you again for allowing me this platform to speak to everyone here today. All right, so if you know me personally, I'm a vibes queen. So I come on here and I see nothing going on in the chats. Guys, if you're excited to be here, send up some fire in the chat, send up some thumbs up, send up something so that I can know that you are here and that you are hearing me and listening to me. I see Jerisha from As I Am Ministry, that's our vice president. Alexa, hi everyone. I love people, I absolutely do. And I love most of all when people interact with me. Hi, Tifancy is, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it properly, but everyone who's here, hello, 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 hello. All right, so now that I know that you are here, just a little bit of disclaimer. I have a 1-year-old baby and I'm home alone with her. She's asleep, but at any point she can get up and start bawling. And it sounds absolutely horrible when she cries. So I'm just putting that out there from now. Anyhow, back to why we are here. So today I'm going to speak on identity, in particular, acceptance. And I'm very, very big on identity. Reason being, if you don't know who you are, you cannot navigate this life. It's going to be virtually impossible to navigate this life. Now, I've gone through a lot of different struggles when it comes to identity. Being a multifaceted person, a Black woman, it's sometimes difficult to figure out who you are or who Christ has called you to be. And now from a younger age, I ventured onto different paths. I did performing arts, speaking, public speaking, you know, the whole evangelism type stuff. And so because of my different gifts, people used to tell me that, listen, you have to fit into a box. And I didn't want to fit into a box. I didn't want to be who people wanted me to be, but I wanted to be the individual that God created me to be. Now, it's so funny because I always said to God that my hair journey, my natural hair journey, is a symbol of how far I've come in truly accepting myself, my personality, for who Christ has called me to be. And I'll tell you why. In 2014, I went through a very, very difficult time. Things were falling apart for me, left, right, and center. Now, one of the things that I wanted to do the most was to start over and to start fresh. And I thought that getting a haircut and going back natural would give me the boost that I needed. Now, while it helped, it did help, but it was not the boost that I needed to go forward, but it played a major role in helping me to shape my identity. So I'll tell you a bit about the journey when for the first time that I cut my hair. When I first cut my hair in 2014, I was dating this guy. And listen, this guy, you know, he's what society would call someone who's ambitious. His parents had money. He was going places. And he used to treat me, I don't want to say bad because he didn't treat me bad, but what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, he used to treat me as if I didn't matter. He didn't value me. He didn't see my worth, right? And because he didn't see my worth, I took that upon myself to say, hey, like, maybe I'm worthless. Maybe I don't have any worth. And backtrack before that, I'm coming from a household where there was domestic violence. I mean, my father was very abusive, and I'm not ashamed of my testimony because, you know, I heard Cortia said something the other day. Cortia from We Inspire Girls and Women. She said the lie is in the secret. And when you keep your testimony a secret, it gives the devil room to come in to tell you that you're not worth it, that you're not good enough, that, you know, you're nothing, that you don't matter. But when you speak your truth and when you share your testimony and when you share your journey, it gives God room to work on your testimonies and to work on your unique identity and where he wants to take you. Yes, Katie, she's a powerhouse. I follow her on Instagram as well. And that's what she was saying. The lie is in the secret. So wherever I go, I always come out to share my testimony because I'm not afraid of my testimony. So as I was saying, I was in a household where there was domestic violence. And when I say domestic violence, I'm not talking about, oh, your dad only comes home to quarrel on you for tonight and then tomorrow he's good. No, I'm talking a constant battle where he would beat us, where he would accuse us, where he would slander us, run us down with machete and that sort of stuff. And because of how he treated me, I felt as though I was navigating this world alone. It didn't matter how many people were around me. It didn't matter how many friends I had because I was doing well for myself in society. I was a part of Jamaica Youth Theatre. I was traveling to Barbados to represent Jamaica in drama. I was also nominated and shortlisted for the Prime Minister Youth Award in Arts and Culture. I've entered a lot of pageants. I was winning those pageants, Miss Jamaica High School Queen, second runner-up in Miss Universe Jamaica Central. I was doing all of these things, but it wasn't necessarily building my worth because of how he treated me. I thought that I didn't have any self-worth at all. And yes, Katie, I tried to push through those things, because what I can tell you is that if you push through the stormy times and if you push through those difficult moments, God has a plan for you. God wants to see you prosper, but sometimes we have to go through those difficult times in our lives to actually build our character and be transformed into the person that Christ wants us to be. And I talk about God a lot because, you know, as Ashaya read, I'm an evangelist, and my identity and accepting myself comes from God. So now I'm going to touch on acceptance. So we've already established that I didn't have any self-worth. I was always picking at my vibrant personality, and all of that started to develop or escalated when I met this guy in church. And so this guy, he was nice in the beginning, but as I said before, he started to pick at my self-worth. He would accuse me of, you know, why are you so nuff? Why are you always, you know, speaking? Why you don't sit back? Why you don't allow others to shine? Why do you always want to shine? You know, like this, he was very dismissive of me. And I started to take on those things as true. The church that I also grew up in as well, they were very mean to me, in the sense that they would say, listen, how dare you come and try to speak to God's people when you're coming from a home where there was domestic violence? You need to take a back seat. You need to tone down your personality. You need to be this. You need to be that. And on top of that, I have sisters that are very brilliant, sisters that are doctors, engineers. In my immediate family alone, I have a doctor, I have an engineer, I have a business owner, very, very brilliant people. And I thought I wasn't brilliant because from a young age, the Lord called me and I wanted to do ministry. I wanted to inspire people. That's what my journey was about. So persons would tell me, you're not as brilliant as your sisters because you didn't go to this high school. You didn't attend this college. So you're not as brilliant as them. And I believed. I believed. All of 2014, come straight up to probably about 2017, I believed. I took on those labels onto myself, and I used to walk around very, very burdened, very, very sad, very, very depressed. And in 2016, my hair started to grow back. In 2017, it got to about, and before I even talk about my hair, let me tell you, my hair was, when I had a perm, my hair was down to here. My hair was very, very, very long. So when I cut my hair and went bald, people went ballistic. People were like, oh my God, look at you now. You are for real going crazy. What's happening to you? Why would you cut off such a long and healthy hair? And to be honest, like nothing was really wrong with my hair. Like it was beautiful. It was shiny. Nothing was wrong with it, but I wanted a fresh start. Also, one of the reasons why I had cut it is because from ever since, I love natural hair. And if you know me, I'm very, very in tune with culture. I love Black people. And one of the reasons why I love Black people so much is because we're a dynamic set of people. And even living in the US and being a Black American, I attend a private institution for rich white people. So I am probably like the only one out of 10 Black people on campus all the time. When I was in Bible college, my husband and I were the only 2 Black people going to Boston Bible College. Everyone else was white. And that's when I really grappled with my identity. That's when I really grappled with acceptance. And I said, listen, God has placed me in this sea right now. So it's either I'm going to swim or I'm gonna drown. I had to make a choice. And when I was around those white girls, not to say that, oh, I was always intimidated, but it does something to you. You don't look like them, you don't sound like them, you don't talk like them. And to make matters worse, I was from Jamaica, so as you can hear, I don't have an American accent unless I'm forced to use it. Then that's the only time I really used it. So I was struggling to identify and to accept myself. And I said, God, where are these doubts coming from? How can I truly accept myself for who you have called me to be? And in 2018, that's when I started to get down to the nitty-gritty of who I was. I was tired. I was so tired of always floating around in low self-esteem, low confidence, not knowing who I was, not knowing who I wanted to be, being afraid of using my gifts, being afraid to shine. And if you had known me prior to the time where I fell into depression, before that, I'm sure Ashaya must be like, what? I didn't know that about you, Mandy, because in high school, you were bubbly, you were happy, you were always on the go, you were always doing great things. And I lost myself in 2014. I would weep night and day. Some nights I thought that, my father would come home and he would kill us. That's the truth. That's the reality of it. That's what I thought would have happened. And it affected my mind to the point where I was in turmoil. I was second guessing myself. My confidence was ground level, and no one knew because I would put on a brave face. And how many of us do that? We put on a brave face and we go out and we pretend like everything is okay, so no one would know all of the insecurities that we are facing. And as Black people, we face so many insecurities. We have so many issues with confidence because of how the world has told us to be. They tell us if you are dark skinned and if you have kinky hair, you need to step back and allow the lighter skinned people to shine. They tell you that you can't fit into certain industries because of your skin or your hair. They tell you that, you shouldn't even try because certain jobs and certain sectors aren't for you. And how many of us know that that is a lie? That is a big lie from the pit of hell. And in accepting myself, I started to accept my hair more. And it's so funny because I was just telling my husband this testimony that it's the first time in my life where I'm ever content with my hair, and it's the healthiest my hair has ever been. I told you before, we've established that before, that I consider my hair as part of my growth and as part of my journey with self-acceptance. Now, I had cut my hair. I've done a big chop, maybe like 5 to 6 times, because of the struggles I was facing internally, because of how much I didn't accept myself. And as I was saying, in 2018, that's when God said to me, Mandy, you have to really come out of this. You have to really see yourself for who I have called you to be. And each day I would write down scriptures and I would remind myself of those scriptures that, like David said, I am fearfully and I am wonderfully made. Like Peter said, that I am holy, I am righteous, I am royal, I am a queen. I had to remind myself of those scriptures, that it is God who has called me, that I am chosen by him, that I am beautiful. Now, I'm from St. Elizabeth and I never really struggled with beauty before because, from the get-go, I told you that I have a strong admiration for Black people and for kinky hair and all of that. So I never really struggled with beauty, but at times people would try to make me feel unbeautiful. Whenever I would enter pageants, they would say, so what are you going to do with your hair now? Are you going to wear extensions? Are you going to straighten it? Are you going to do this or that? And it caused me to second guess myself a bit. I'm from St. Elizabeth, and majority of my sisters, they have a softer texture hair than mine. They have lighter skin than mine. If you see my cousins, you would wonder if we are really cousins because they're very, very, very light skinned. and I'm dark skinned. And so at times, like, people would say, so how are they like this and you are like that, and would cause me to second guess myself. But in those moments was when I used the opportunity to remind myself that God made me this way for a reason, and that I am not only beautiful on the inside, but I'm also beautiful on the outside. Persons like to tell us that, oh, well, you know, you're beautiful on the inside, but no, I'm also beautiful on the outside. And sometimes I really do look at my skin and I say, God, I'm not showing off, but my skin is actually like really smooth, and I love my skin, I love my hair. And it took me a while to get to this place of acceptance of my hair and acceptance of my skin and acceptance of how God has created me, because as I said, the lie is in the secret. And the more I began to share my testimony of my struggles of self-acceptance and how I was struggling to accept myself, was the more God was pointing out to me that, listen, you were rejected because I didn't want you to fit in. That you never fit in because I have made you peculiar. I have made you different. I have made you special. I have created you for my own glory, for my own purpose. You don't need to be walking around with your head down all the time. You need to lift your head up, shoulders back, heads up. Walk with confidence, because it is I who have created you, and I have created you beautifully inside and outside. And these are the last words that I'm going to say before I close. You know, when I was also in Bible college, everything is online now. I'm coming down now, Ashaya. When I was in Bible college, and you know, at first I was like shrinking myself to say, but you know, when I do a performance or when I do a presentation, like certain people, they don't talk like me. As a Black person, I have too much passion, and I was dulling down my passion. And God said, no, I have created you as a Black person because I want you to have that passion, and I want you to go into certain spaces and certain places to show them different cultures. And you know, sometimes I was afraid and ashamed to say, oh, you know, well, I'm from Jamaica, or I would hide my accent because of the negative connotation. I'm telling you, in Boston, it's pretty white down there. Like, they will associate, if you say you're from Jamaica, they associate you with weed and all of those things. And God said, no, you don't hide your accent. You don't hide who you are. You don't pull your hair in a bun. You let that hair out. You show them that Blackness. You show them that Jamaican talk, and make them know where we come from. I remember one time I was doing a presentation at Gordon College for communications class, and I chose to speak on Louise Bennett. A lot of persons will just look at Louise Bennett and they will say, oh, Louise Bennett is just someone who gives jokes and make poetry and whatever. But how many of you actually know the details about Louise Bennett, that this woman went to Canada to put Jamaica on the scene, that this woman has one of the biggest awards that you can ever get in Canada. She got it for nation building, for culture and the arts. And what Louise Bennett did through her poems was not just to entertain, but she allowed us to own our culture. She allowed us to own a part of who we are that we had resisted for ages and centuries. And listen, let me tell you, like, Jamaica is a country that is filled with so much colorism that it is sad sometimes that we try to alienate ourselves from the roots of our culture, from the nitty-gritty of our culture. But God taught me from early that if you want to accept yourself, that if you want to own your personality, you have to own all the parts of your personality. You have to own all the parts of your identity. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. Being Jamaican is a badge of honor. We should wear it proudly across our chests. And you know, I said I was coming down. I'm almost done. So I remember back in 2018, my hair had grown to about here, quite long. And I looked at it and I was still struggling internally. And I said, but this hair can't curl. It's not curly. And if you realize, if you look at my texture, it's very weird. It's strange. You my texture. It is because yeah, it's not everyone has this type of
It's
texture.
Indian hair.
No, no, it's not. And most people think it's soft, but it's not. So it doesn't have like curls, like you see them girls post them curls and it's like very curly. No, it has like looser curls. And I was so mad at my hair. Remember, I know it grew down to here, and because I was mad inside, I took it out on my hair and I said, okay, I'm chopping it off again. And everyone was shocked, was like, you went through all that process. It grew to here and you cut it off again. And I say, yeah, and I made up all of the excuses. It's damage, it's this. Nothing wrong with the hair. The hair was so healthy. My mom was so upset. She's like, why would you do that? And I realized it was a struggle internally that I take out on my hair. How many of us are struggling internally and then take that out on your hair? You know, we gotta stop. And the last time I allowed my emotions to rule me was in 2000, the end of 2019, going into 2020. So it's been a year now since I cut my hair. I went ball, because I'm like, oh, I don't like how this pregnancy is making me look. I'm frustrated. I don't want to have to deal with my hair. I'm going to cut it off again. And I balled it. And you know, that was when God really sat me down and said, you need to stop this. You got to stop it. Fix what is happening internally and stop taking out things on your hair. Accept your hair for what it is. Love your hair in different stages, just as you have tried to love your personality in different stages. Love your hair in different stages. And that's when everyone was saying, my sisters were saying, oh my gosh, your hair is ruined now. Why you don't put a perm in it? And I'm like, you know what, God? Please teach me to accept my hair. Please teach me to love my hair. I don't know what's happening to me, but I need to heal internally. And so I could stop taking it out on my hair. And I'm telling you, in 2020, God brought me so much peace to my heart. I kept repeating scriptures to myself because, you know, sometimes we need the reminder to know who we are in Christ. We need that reminder to know that we are beautiful, that we are strong. And when you continue to face rejection, when you continue to face struggles, it wears you down. It does something to you. But when God begins to pour into you, when God begins to show you that you are his daughter, that you are his son, that he loves you, that he carefully crafted and created you, that's when the healing begins. That's when he starts to shape you and to mold you into the individual that he wants you to be. And I remember living in Beverly, Boston. We lived close to the beach, and I went to the beach one day, and I was looking at the waters, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like look at how the water comes and the waves crash against the rocks, and I'm like, wow, that's beautiful. And that's my baby, that's my cue to go. 3 more minutes. Look at how the waters, you know, crash against the rocks and everything. And God was saying to me, listen, Mandy, you think that sea is beautiful and powerful? Have a look at yourself. You are also my creation. You are powerful. You are beautiful. You are not forgotten. And he led me to that scripture that says that, you know, pennies are worth nothing, and we pay pennies for sparrows, and a sparrow is a bird. We pay pennies, we pay 1 penny for 2 sparrows, but the Bible says that not one sparrow is forgotten. And if you really do the research about sparrows, those are one of the most common types of birds. They're all over the world. They're nothing. Yet God says not one of them is forgotten. How much more you? Don't you know? And it literally says this in the Bible. Don't you know that every hair, every strand of hair on your head is numbered? It is numbered. So when you ruin it, and when you cut it, and when you treat it bad because you don't accept yourself, God knows how many fell off. God knows how many strands of hair is going to grow back. he takes into consideration these things that we might not think he takes into consideration. So in closing, in conclusion, I want to say that you are so loved. You are loved by an amazing God. You were created by an amazing God. You are not just beautiful on the inside, but you are also beautiful on the outside. Say bye-bye to societal norms. Your nose don't have to be straight to be beautiful. It doesn't have to be tiny to be beautiful. I have a big nose and I'm beautiful. You don't have to have light skin to be beautiful. Not saying that if you have light skin, you're not beautiful. All of us are beautiful. Beauty comes in different shades, in different forms. And the mere fact that a perfect creator crafted us, it means that we are absolutely beautiful. So love yourself, accept yourself for who you are, love your Blackness, love your strength, because within us comes with so much fire. Within us, there is so much passion. Within us, there is so much love to share to all of the world. So thank you guys for having me. Bye.
Absolutely. I'm going to do a clap, and I'm sure everybody else is just on their clap. That was an absolutely excellent presentation and testimony, Mandy. You know, I smiled, I was crying. I felt that one very deep. And like you so rightly said, I did not know that you were going through any of those battles at all. And, you know, I looked at you as this, like you said, this bright, bubbly person. I never thought for a second. That's why, you know, we see people when we shouldn't judge, because we really don't know what battles we're facing. And as you spoke so deeply about, you know, finding your journey through self-acceptance, and you know, in the American society, I can't imagine that to be easy, especially in Boston. Like you said, it's prominently white, so that would be a difficult journey. But kudos to you for, you know, for being so strong and just pushing through. And there was a comment from Katie in the comments. It said, thank you for the testimony. You got through with God. You know, men can really lead us sometimes in the wrong path. And, you know, God had a plan for you. And that is very, very, very true. And if Little But Talawa was a person, it definitely would be you, Mandy, because I remember from high school, you were only so tiny and, you know, so small, Little But Talawa. So hearing you go through, you know, without going too much into it, because I don't want to feel emotional again, but that was very, very empowering for me and for the audience. So thank you so much for sharing that testimony. And like you said, you know, you claimed yourself, you claimed the story, and you are who you are, and we love that. Like somebody else said in the comments, you know, you are the next Terry Carell, which is very, very, very true. The way you uplift others around you and, you know, what you do is awesome. So we're going to move on down to the program. Do we have Shaniki on? Shaniki should be.
I am here. Hi, Isaiah.
I see you. Oh, there you are, Shaniki.
Are you guys seeing me?
Yes. All right. We're going to go on to your poem entitled Word to All You Queens Watching.
Well, you Hi.
I had a question. Can you hear me?
Go ahead, Candice.
Oh, I was wondering if anybody had any questions for Mandy per se that they would want to ask before she goes.
Oh, is Mandy going offline now?
Oh, no. Oh, I was just wondering if anybody had any questions. That's all.
All right. Does anybody have any questions for Mandy?
Hi, guys. Well, I don't have a question. I just wanted to say that in the words of Terry Carell, she always says, don't small up yourself. So seeing that you're in Boston, I've been to Boston and they're very racist over there, but you don't small up yourself because they're racist. And you have a powerful voice, just continue pushing yourself. And thanks for sharing your testimony.
Thank you so much for that comment. All the comments in the chat box there, thank you for sharing. That was marvelous. Well done. I love this. Fantastic. That was so great. Watch Nice Black Girl. Yes. So glad I came. Amen. That's our God. Thank you. And you know, it just keeps going on. So Mandy, you are very impactful.
Amen. I just want to add to that comment when you said don't smile up yourself. I really don't. When I first came, that's what I did. Like I resorted to silence and I would hit myself. But then I'm still getting A's, even on top of everything, like being married, have a baby and whatever. And I'm like, I'm not gonna hide my smartness. Like if they put me in a group and they don't want me to be the leader or whatever, that's okay, because not every battle you need to fight. Sometimes you have to allow success to make the noise for you. And I think another important lesson I've learned as well, sometimes as Black Americans, when we're in America, we use racism to fight too many different battles. For example, if they don't want me in a store because I'm Black, it's my money. I have a right to spend where I want to spend it. But if you don't want me in your store, that's your loss, sweetie. You lose a valuable, beautiful, and strong customer. So sometimes I will dress back, because not every battle I want to choose to fight, but those battles that I think are worth fighting, for example, mashing up my exam, them, getting A's, standing up for the Jamaican culture, standing up for who I am, then I'll do that. So definitely, sis, I agree. We shouldn't smile up ourselves, because you said I was a little bit taller, Ashaya, but Jamaica embodies little but with Aloe.
True.
Amen.
Shevielle, you had something to say?
Oh, I was just saying amen.
Pardon? That was a bit crackly.
Oh, I was just saying amen. That's all.
Yes. Amen. All right, let's move on in the program. Shaniki, let's go on to your poem, A Word to All the Queens Watching.
Hi, good evening. First of all, it is such a blessing to be here with all of you guys. You guys are so fantastic. Mandy, your story, it is powerful, it is compelling. As Ashaya said, it is very impactful. I know everybody in here can feel it. Hi, Katie. Firstly, just like a quick background on the poem. When I was about to pen it, I was thinking, how would I go about approaching this? How do I start? Because it's a challenge. It's a challenge speaking about beauty in a Black sense. Not only because we were raised in a type of Eurocentric society where it's the straight nose and the long straight hair, kinky curls are not allowed, but also because we're not used to taking beauty into our daily lives. So I was wondering, how do I go about incorporating and telling people, young women, that you are beautiful on the inside, right? Thank you. So I came up with this, right? Young queen, your palms hold the stories of triumphant tales. Your fingers grasp the face of royalty. Sapphire eyes, the mirror looks back at you. What an ignited soul. Fire that comes from a pain that only a woman's arms could bear. With a heart full of happiness, tumultuous ride it seems, skin of black gold, O young queen, there is a universe inside of you. Glorious amalgamations, not just of stars, not just of planets, not just of galaxies, but a universe that is made of a mind, craftily designed by divinity, the power to misfit and align, to love others like you loved yourself first. Brighten the sun with a smile, O child of light. Be you, be beautiful. Ooh, okay, thank you.
That was really sweet. We had some comments in the comment section saying they couldn't hear you properly. So do you want to go over that again, but project your voice?
Or give me a moment. Okay. If there is any other problem with the audio, just let me know before. But I was saying that in approaching this poem, I had wanted to take it from a perspective of just how do I tell Black women to love themselves? How do I tell you that your kinky curls, your dark skin, your broad nose, your big eyes or far apart eyes are fine, they're beautiful? How do I go about telling you that? How do I go about telling you that you can go forth and like connect with yourself inside? And I think like hearing the stories of both these beautiful women before, Candice and Mandy, both your stories are so powerful, so impactful, and so appropriate then, because this speaks to a story of self-acceptance. It speaks to a story of finding a way to connect with yourself from within. Okay, I'll go ahead now. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, young queen. Your palms hold the stories of triumphant tales. Your fingers grasp the face of royalty. Sapphire eyes, the mirror looks back at you. What an ignited soul. Fire that comes from a pain that only a woman's arms could bear. With a heart full of happiness, tumultuous ride it seems, skin of black gold. O young queen, there is a universe inside of you. Glorious amalgamations, not just of stars, not just of planets, not just of galaxies, but a universe made of a mind crafted by divinity, power to misfit and align, to love others like you loved yourself first. Brighten the sun with a smile, O you child of light. Be you, be beautiful. Thank you.
Excellent. That was awesome. Thank you for those words and putting them together for us today. And one of the lines that stood out to me was to love yourself, love other people like you love yourself. Yeah, which is very important. This seminar, it's all about self-acceptance and loving self, like Mandy spoke so deeply of, self-love and comes with self-care. And, in order to love other people, we really have to love ourselves.
That was one of the things that had stood out to me first and foremost. You have to love yourself first, because if you don't know self-love, how can you deliver it to somebody else? So that really, really was something for me. And just before I go, like really quickly, one of the other things that stood out to me as well that I really wanted to bring across was just the fact that there's a universe inside of you. No, I know sometimes because of our tendency to be self-critical, and I do believe that Mandy did touch on this, where she said she would pick on herself and pick at her self-worth. Because of our tendency to be self-critical, we forget that within ourselves we are a creation, and this creation is not just a representation of just what we see here, but we are divinely created, and we need to accept that and believe that and live that, absolutely. And I know we go through this life and we think, just because of the mistakes that I made, or the mistakes that follow me, or that I'm smaller, or like I'm less than, but you're not. You're still a divine creation. You're still beautiful. So shine, let that show through. Thank you.
That is very, very, very true. We are the universe, and the more that we realize that, the universe is within us, the more we can really accept life and everything else. And, we accept our position in this world, and then we can, flow through accordingly. I really like that. So we're going to ask some questions. So I hope you guys were listening, because I should have asked the question before Mandy's and Shaniki's presentation. So make sure, I hope you guys were listening and making notes. The first question is, I want you to name 4 of Shevielle's skincare tips. Now, you don't have to go into it. You can just give me just the four headings. And the second question, The second giveaway for a chance for some giveaways from our sponsors is, can you name at least 3 of the sponsors of today's forum, which is BeUtiful? So I'll be over in the chat. Oh. Come on, guys, come through with the answers. I'm sure you remember 4 of Chevielle's beauty tips for the skin.
Can we talk or should we type?
Yeah, I prefer the mic because it's quicker than the typing.
Okay, so can I go with the tips?
Absolutely, take the floor.
So the first one, I'd say reconsider your eating habits. She spoke on that. Avoid stress. Clean skin and exfoliate. And be aware of dirty things.
Are you sure you didn't see my notes? Congratulations, you just won.
Congratulations. Yeah, you just won. So basically, I have a little goodie bag. I don't know if I should get it and go for it for you. But in your goodie bag, we actually have some products, some chocolates from Chocolate Chocolates. We actually have a headband from Hair Honey Hive. Oh, that's not the curry, but Tan's Hair Honey, sorry. And we also have 2 other things in here now. We also have a pouch from Lady Stitch and of course some of my products. So I'll talk to you off the air to see how we can actually get the products delivered to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Enjoy your gifts. Do we have any answers for the second question? Name at least 3, I put 4 fingers, 3 sponsors of today's BeUtiful webinar. I'll give you a hint. If you know which team I'm from, we are one of the sponsors. It would be, all the sponsors were mentioned earlier. We have a lot of sponsors for the sweet tooth, for the natural hair, for the skin, for the, oops, everything's falling. That's my set design falling down.
Go on Instagram, guys, for some hints.
Come on, we have quite a few sponsors. We have a lot of Instagram-based businesses that sell hair accessories and products to keep you looking sweet. Something for the sweet tooth, some healthy homemade. All right, guys. Do we not have any answers? No answers? All right, I'll give you some time to get do we have a speaker?
Yes, Janelle is speaking.
Who's speaking? Sorry, I didn't catch the name.
Janelle.
Hi, Janelle. So name at least 3 of the sponsors for today's event.
Apart from Shevielle.
Apart from Shevielle, yes, the organizers.
Lady Stitch.
Yeah. Whoop, whoop.
And Chocolate, if I'm pronouncing.
Yes, my favorite. Congratulations. You've just won the package, well, the special gift packet from some of our sponsors. I hope you get some chocolate chocolates in that because they are absolutely delicious.
Definitely.
All right. So as you heard, the presentations were very informative, very powerful, very relatable, personally relatable, and I know that they were relatable for you guys as well. But what I love most about this event is all, everyone coming together, exchanging ideas, interacting, sharing stories, because we're all, like I said earlier, we're on this journey together. So it's important that, we get together in these kind of spaces, to talk about natural hair tips, thanks to Shevielle going through the her, you know, the natural hair products that she does and the tips that what we can do, the dietary exercises, because, you know, we are what we eat, what we put into our system, you know, we're basically a product what we consume. So I definitely agree when she mentioned about the vitamins, you know, the A, C, B, and the D vitamins are very good for our skin and hair, you know, and the skin tips, you know, we had a winner earlier, eating healthy, avoid stress, you know, clean skin, clean environment. And one of the things that us women, you know, not all of us wear makeup, but for those who do, one of the things to consider now, this is something that I recently learned not long ago, which was to wash your makeup brushes. I used to use a makeup brush for a couple of months, and then throw it away and buy new makeup brushes. Well, the other day I learned that I could actually wash my makeup brushes, and, you know, for the first day, they smelled so beautiful. I washed them with natural soap. You can use any type of soap, and they were really nice. I spent most of the day just smelling them. They were that, you know, really nice and smooth, and that can have an effect on your skin, you know, if you're not using clean makeup brushes. And, you know, towels and, you know, definitely pillowcases, really, you should change them every couple of days. You know, even if you're the type to change your sheets every week, change your pillowcase a lot more often, because, you know, we're sweating, you know, our pores are very sensitive. So, and you know, we heard from Mandy. Mandy's testimony was very, very, very powerful. Now, I did not know at all that Mandy was going through any of that, and it just goes to show, you know, it's important to really be kind and be nice, because also you never know when your paths may cross again. Mandy and I went to high school together, so, you know, it was really powerful hearing her story and what she went through. And, you know, I'm sure we can all relate to some of the things that she was saying, especially when she talked about, you know, doing the big chop. Now, personally, I've done the big chop twice. This last time I did the big chop was 3 years ago. And when I was doing my hair today, I got the same feeling. And I thought, you know, this hair, I really can't manage it. But now, after being here today, I'm like, I can't wait to go and do my, you know, what I do, soak it in. I experiment with all kinds. Sometimes I just go in the kitchen, grab all kinds of things, mayonnaise, honey, and coconut oil, or just olive oil, or anything, and I experiment. So now, thanks for all the presentations. I'm now back on that journey to loving my hair, and I hope that somebody, Katie said, do protective styles sometimes. Now, what was mentioned earlier was about the tight hairstyles. Now, this is the first time in probably about 2 weeks I've had the hair up in a tight bun. But a good protective style, if you like your hair high up, is I usually do twists at the side, so it kind of keeps the edges a little bit, you know, protected, and then at the back can more handle being scooped up in a ponytail. But the presentations, like I said, were very impactful. We need to have more discussions like this so we can get together and share ideas and, you know, what everybody's doing. I'm going to head over to the chat box and read some of the comments. And, you know, oh, strong women, strong talk. This is so powerful. Yes, so everybody here today agrees that this discussion, what we're having, was very powerful. And we should keep connected as sisters. I agree with you, Katie. And we need to have more forums like this, you know. And let me give you a little bit of background on the sponsors of this event, because, you know, with our sponsors, you know, we wouldn't have been able to give away all the goodies that we gave away today. So thank you so much to the sponsors. We have BeUtiful, kind of makes me want to say it with a little bit of accent. Well, BeUtiful Collections produces 100% of Jamaica's chic handmade clutches and purses. This business was created by Demoy in 2014 while she was a student at the Immaculate Conception High School. Wow, kudos to you, kudos. That is absolutely an excellent initiative for such a young person as well, going through high school, starting a business. Wow. And the second sponsor we have, Living Holistically. Living Holistically by Carrie Ann provides natural health and wellness solutions to help you live your best life now, because no better time than right now. We provide detox kits, natural herbs and supplements. Living Holistically by Carrie Ann is the brainchild of wellness entrepreneur. Wow. So go ahead and check Carrie Ann out on Instagram at Holistically Lifestyling. And you can also check out BeUtiful there on Instagram as well. So a special thanks to Tan's Hair Honey Hive. More popularly known as Hair Honey Hive, is a small Instagram online-based business that sells hair accessories and products to keep you looking sweet without the hassle. So I guess that's where probably the satin bonnets are from. You can go ahead and check out Tan's Hair Honey Hive on Instagram at Hair Honey Hive. And the next sponsor is Chocolate. Now, Chocolate is homemade. I don't have to read this one. I'm joking. It's homemade chocolate from a family-owned business here in Jamaica. The chocolate is absolutely beautiful. They do they do soul chocolates, which has a very acquiring taste, but my favorite was the milk chocolate. They have dark chocolates, liqueur chocolates. They are, in fact, I have one in the fridge right now. I should have got it out to show you guys. But yeah, their passion is making quality bean to bar chocolate, and they strive to provide consumers with a taste of Jamaica through our fine flavored craft chocolate. Yes, when you eat their chocolates, you close your eyes and you just taste everything. It's beautiful. And it was actually a business started as a hobby from Mr. Carl Sharp, which blossomed into a full-fledged family business. You can check them out on Instagram at Chocolate Chocolate, and feel free to contact them at 321-5619. I will definitely be calling, putting in my order. And another special thank you to Lady Stitch, is a business geared to, I love that word, geared towards creative and hand-sewn essentials. As the business continues to flourish, the aim is to design authentic, artistic, valuable products, and as such, impact great customer service, which is very important here in Jamaica, you know. And the final sponsor is the Hot Box. Now, I am from the Hot Box, which is an all women's talk show After Dark talk show on News Talk 93 FM. Our program is every Thursday, 8 till 10 p.m. We talk about all issues affecting women from women's perspectives. We also bring the males on board to hear what they've got to say about issues, to kind of keep it balanced, though we all know the pendulum is on one side, so you know we kind of have to want it in the middle. So the Hot Box, we talk about relationship issues, self-image, you know, issues in society that women face. So it's really a platform for women to voice whatever they're going through. And on the Hot Box, we have a Power Factor segment, which features all entrepreneurial women, which I'm sure we have a lot of potential Power Factors in the audience. So what I'd like you to do is send your information to Shevielle, and I'd like to arrange an interview with some of you guys who are running your own business, you know, doing very well within your entrepreneurial network. So that's it for the sponsors. I would like to hand over what do we say? Because it's a digital event, we don't hand over the floor or hand over the mic. We're going to switch screens back to Candice, and she will close the event. Thank you very much. Candice, over to you.
Right, so thank you guys for actually coming out this afternoon. I must say I am truly blessed by this presentation, this afternoon's event. I really hope that some of you guys will take it seriously. A lot of times we have different insecurities that we don't really think about it, but it does affect what we do. But guess what? It's so important for us to have a good perceptive of ourselves, a good understanding of who we are. Because if we have a poor opinion of ourselves, it will greatly affect how people view us and how they value our work. And just before I go, I just really wanted to say thank you guys once again. And of course, if you're not so familiar with Shevielle, Shevielle is my baby. And basically, as she had mentioned before, Shevielle believes in holistic towards hair and skincare. And so not only do we provide natural products such as oils like castor oil, coconut oil, and so on, and handmade soaps or butters, but we also provide dietary tips and also natural remedies that can help you. And we also host events like these that help, well, the majority of my target audience are women. So it helps women to really accept themselves for who they are. And one of the major aims is to build a community where women can come and share their different tips that they've found along their natural journey, their different tips that they've found, you know, in life in general, because really and truly, you always, you know, get more strength when you have more companionship. So of course, follow us on Instagram at Shevielle, that's Sheviele. And if you need any products, feel free to WhatsApp me or call me. That's 876-513-7719. I just want to say thank you guys once again for coming on. And let me know if you have any suggestions for another webinar that we'll have, or anything that you think that we could do a bit better to serve you. So thank you guys. I don't know if I should have anything else to say, or if anybody has questions or anything else to say.
I just have one more thing to say. You know, it's very, you know, all this natural talk is good for women and everything, but we forget about the men. They also have their natural hair battles too. You know, the ones with the thicker hair and learning how to care for their hair, learning to brush it and, you know, look after their scalp. They also have their challenges and, you know, are scorned for not having curlier hair. So they put, you know, S curls and all kinds of stuff just to get them waves. And so we need to not forget the men too. I was very careful because I didn't know if we had any men in the audience that was here to learn about self-care too, because, you know, it's non-gender specific. So sorry about that, I got a call. It's non-gender specific, so maybe in the next forum we could include something for the men so they can get on board with this natural journey and self-acceptance, because they have their battles too.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And once the men are feeling better within themselves, then, you know, it might mushroom into better care and attention for us women. So, you know, never know.
All right, so before I go, if anybody have any businesses that they would like for us to follow on Instagram or if you do WhatsApp, you can drop it in the chat and we're going to officially close out. So
thank you guys. Bye.
Thank you guys for coming. You can just drop your handles in the chat and so on.
All right, I'll be in the chat box looking for some power factors for the hot box.